Hello and welcome to the continuation of By the Book with Sean Poindexter. I am your host, Sean Poindexter, and earlier we were speaking or reading a few reviews on the current book that we are working on, The 4 Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss, which was a bestseller, on Amazon during 2009, at least. Um, So earlier we had looked at a review that was a little on the negative side. So as not to be biased, I decided to go ahead and show you guys a more positive review. I will read it to you for a little while. I'm starting at the beginning here. Ultimately, let me highlight this, make it easier for you to read along. Ultimately, I enjoyed the first half of Timothy Ferriss's book 4 Hour Work Week. It challenged me to evaluate my perspective on the cost and availability of my own dreams. However, I couldn't help getting the self promotional stomach pangs while I read it. Hopefully, you'll be able to look past that and enjoy the book for what it is, a challenge to the way we as Americans think of retirement and money. The first 70 to 90 pages of the book are extremely engaging and well worth the price of the book. After that, the book turns into a lifestyle for dummies book on setting up a shell company to sell someone else's product. Although I find it noble that Ferris is attempting to give people pragmatic steps for implementing this new rich lifestyle, I also find his suggestions impractical for two reasons. His business ideas, let me highlight that. His business idea relies on tiny niche audiences. This works well unless his book becomes a bestseller and many people decide they want to do the same thing. Can you say you buy ugly houses? Anyone who figures out how to make 5 or 10 times their money on a product that they exert little effort to produce will quickly find competition popping out of the woodwork. And then there's number two. His business ideas are not sustainable. They rely on marketing strategies and promotions that have to work forever without any chance to profitably or respond. Hmm, without any change, forgive me guys, to profitability or response rates in order to maintain the 4 hour work week lifestyle. In my experiences, the market is fickle and changes frequently, especially as it relates to the internet and online marketing. I can't help but think the entire new rich concept is a branding ploy to roll out a series of self help seminars. Let's hope not. If it does, it will distort the message of the book, for it would require the fairest trade in the new rich lifestyle to be backed in the rat race on a quest for millions that he claims are not necessary to achieve one's dreams. Perhaps that's the real lesson to be learned from the book. No matter where you are, the grass always seems greener on the other side. And I believe the guy's name is Jeremy Ames. He's an executive editor. Forgive my mess ups, guys. Okay. So with that being said, actually, I had watched a video from one of his podcasts cast where he actually really doesn't feel like really going on seminars. Doesn't really feel like paying or making people pay for seminars. Um, and he says in the video podcast that he actually desires to he creates these books, or he has created the book in order to remove himself as a bottleneck. He does not he wants to make it so that the book was basically very generalized in order for him to give you or some ideas, or give you some methods to use in your implementation of gaining whatever lifestyle that it is you ultimately want it. And he did not want you to continuously have to go to him for it. However, of course, it's not like he wouldn't mind making some more money. Okay. Um, I appreciate what Jeremy Ames has to say due to the fact that it was not as lengthy as the other individual that I chose. As you can see, he still left a 4-star rating. Um, let's see. And then these guys are all talking about this review. So the question number one is, do we base the high sales rate that is here, as you can see, 5 star, 68%, which I spoke about earlier. Do we use that to base the premise off whether this book will work or not, or do we look at what the customer reviews have to say? Both the customer reviews have basically said almost the exact same thing. One being a 2-star rating and one being a 4-star rating. So overall, we can deduce um, at least from these two reviews, that most likely a high probability that anyone who has written anything is going to speak about the positive as well as the negative. Meaning, I would like to, for real, probably bring this star rating of 5 probably just to dead middle. It's very surprising that the number, a 3-star or 3.5 star, is not more likely than the 5.5 star rating that it has here overall. Probably because the book is a good read. It's not as disappointing as you might anticipate that it could be, and it does get the mind flowing. You hear some of the things that he says, and automatically, you think of how you can implement them in your everyday life. So I'm very much going to have fun with this video series. So with that being said, um, we're gonna go to the front page. I don't want to waste a lot of time with the reviews. You guys can all go to Amazon and read them yourself, of course. So here are going to be the rules real briefly. Um, Links for all the books are going to be located in the description. If they are not there yet, that means that I just haven't placed them there just as of yet. But the odds of that happening are slim to none because it doesn't take that long to place links in the description for books. But just in case somehow I forget or I miss out due to other factors unbeknownst to me currently. Um, Now I'm going to include the 4 hour work week, the 4 hour body, and the 4 hour chef, mainly because I've read them all. And the 4 hour body, I actually skimmed. I read fully once and then I skimmed through because the 4 hour body actually is the 4 hour body is actually not necessarily something that you absolutely had to read. You actually can nitpick through that, and you can also nitpick through the 4 hour chef as well. Because this actually has sections for each specific thing. I think actually I'm going to order them once again later on. Although I think I can find my copy somewhere. Um, so yeah. Um, Excuse all the ums. Okay. So, establishing rules. Okay. So what we're going to do is number one. I'm not going to read the book in its entirety out to you. There already are audio books that you can purchase through the link. And all three of them luckily come in audiobook format as well. Um, so that's pretty awesome. Okay. So I'm not going to read them in their entirety. However, I am going to read what I believe to be important key factors in the book that should be implemented um, as well as uh, show you their implementation, and hopefully show you how they have affected my life overall. Currently, they have not have any real effect on my life yet because I have not implemented them. This video series, again, let me inform newcomers, is being created due to the vagueness of most of the books that I have read when it comes to self help and better um, understanding oneself and how to ultimately obtain whatever level of success it is that you are looking for. Um, and because of the vagueness of these books, I've always felt like reading some of them was a waste of time if it did not um, immediately um, allow you to do something. Then it was ultimately wasting your time. I currently have Drawing the Marvel Way, Figure Drawing for Dummies, Game Maker Essentials, um, Hacking Electronics, Hacking for Dummies, um, How to Argue, Life Code. I have all these, a lot of these books, and automatically a lot of these books I can use and have used. However, when it comes to the self help books such as Life Code or Absolutely Unbreakable Laws of Business Success, these they don't all work, or they're not all uh, implement easily implemented. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to one utilize the information from these books to get a 2016 reference and up to date, or not get, but give a 2016 reference and up to date information, allowing individuals who incorporate these specific teachings, like nitpick out of these specific books, to utilize online. We're currently going to be looking at using what the 4 hour work week gives to create a sustainable online business model, and then completely and utterly uh, annihilate our goals, our dreams, and aspirations to the point where we ultimately get to manipulate every acute detail in our entire life. So, without further ado, since I've already established a few rules, we're going to get to the meat and bones of everything. So I'm going to first go to what I have on my. I'm currently I listen to the audiobook from my Android. Um, so it makes it so much quicker. Um, yeah. So I'll get back to you when I get to the first thing that I want us to begin implementing.